afternoon guys. So welcome back to my channel. So this time I'm going to make a short video of my of English 10 Capsulized Self-Learning Empowerment Toolkit, week 3.1 and 3.2. So let me share with you the capslet of grade 10 English. Okay, so for those who are asking, I made this video for the purpose that we discovered that there are pages in our capsule that are not really unclear. So I decided to make this video for you to be enlightened about our topic. So our topic for this week 3.1 is about the unity of plot, setting, and characterization in a material viewed to achieve the writer's purpose. So that's the topic for this week. So I assume that you got your capslet already today because today is Friday, and I hope that you already have your capslet. So if you have your capslet, can you please hold it and follow with your eyes, okay? So again, the topic is about unity of plot, setting, and characterization in a material view to achieve the writer's purpose, okay? So for this learning competency, you need to appraise the unity of plot, setting, and characterization in a material viewed to achieve the writer's purpose. So the objectives for this week 3.1 are: A. Identify the characters from the excerpt. B. Assess the sequence of events from the excerpt using the graphic organizer, and analyze the author's purpose in a given text. So what are you going to do is to achieve the following objectives of this lesson. So there are questions after this understand. If you are going to look at your capslet, so there is an important note there. Do not write anything on this material. Write your answers on the learner's activity and assessment sheets provided separately. So you have to read the topic title. Okay, so understand this is an excerpt from The Les Miserables by Victor Hugo, chapter 7, Cosette side by side with a stranger in the dark. So you are going to read this one. So you try to understand the excerpt, okay? So after understanding the excerpt, this time you have to get your yellow pad. Okay, so there are a lot of students who are asking if they can answer in an intermediate paper. Yes, you can answer, but we prefer that you use the yellow pad. But if in case you have only the intermediate paper, you can use. Okay, so for SAQ 1, self-assessment question. So please do not forget to write this on your yellow pad or your intermediate paper. SAQ 1. So we teachers will also be guided in checking your papers. Okay, para naman buyong-buyong si teacher. Okay, so what you are going to do is to write SAQ 1. Okay, SAQ 1. So for SAQ 1 here, after reading, understanding, and etc. of the excerpt given, no? So the question is, who are the characters in the excerpt? Okay, match column A with the correct answer in column B. Write only the letter of the answer on the blank provided. So what you are going to do here is to write only the letter of the correct answer. Okay, please do not copy anymore the questions because we already know the questions. Okay, so on your yellow pad, you write the SAQ 1 and then already identify your answer. For example, for number 1, if your answer is B, then you write B, and so on. This is only 1 to 5, okay? And then for self-assessment question number 2, true or false, write T on the line if the statement is true, and F if the statement is false. So the direction is very clear. No need for me to explain, okay? So write only letter T. So answer right away for SAQ 2, 1 to 5, T for true and F for false. Okay? And then for let's practice, again, let's practice. It is said here, read the question statements carefully and choose the correct answer. Okay? It is said here to encircle the letter of your chosen answer. So since you are writing your answer on your yellow pad, you have to write the letter of the correct answer. So for example, number 1, where did Madame Thénardier send Cosette at the time of the night? So if your answer is letter A, you write letter A. Do not anymore copy the questions. Answer right away. Okay? Then, follow. I hope you are following with your, you're looking at your capslet. So next, this is only 1 of 2, 3 only. Okay? So for, remember, so the key points. What are the key points for week 3.1? The unity of plot, setting, and characterization in a material viewed or read is important to achieve the writer's purpose. The plot of a story consists of the events that occur during the story. The plot is also sometimes referred to as the storyline. The setting is the time and place the story took place. It can be real or fictional, or a combination of both real and fictional elements. Characterization. This is the process through which an author reveals the characters, personality. Okay? So what is the author's purpose? When we talk of the author's purpose, we refer to the why behind their writing. What motivated the author to produce their work and their intent and what they hope to achieve. The author's purpose could persuade, to inform, or to entertain. Okay? I hope that is clear. So for try, how are you going to write this? Do not copy anymore everything, okay? So what you are going to do here is to only, since this is a graphic organizer, the direction is, let me read to the directions. Using the graphic organizer, arrange the order of events from the excerpt. Choose the answers from the box, okay? So there are answers on the box, okay? So what you are going to do there is to only choose the answer and then place the answers on the graphic organizer. Very easy, right? So what you are going to do is to put, of course, the climax, the falling action, the exposition, the rising action, and last is the resolution. Okay na? So you have to choose the answers on the boxes. Okay. So next, letter B. Answer the following questions and circle the letter of the correct answer. So since you are answering already on your yellow pad, you have to again write the letter of the correct answer. Do not anymore copy the, the questions. Okay? And that's it for week 3.1. So if you still have any question, you can PM me or send me a message. Okay, so for week 3.2, again, this is English 10. So for week 3.2, the topic is accessibility and effectiveness of source of information. So what you're going to do here, your task is to compare and contrast the contents of the materials viewed or read with outside sources of information in terms of accessibility and effectiveness. So what you're going to do is also identify the different sources of information and assess the accessibility and effectiveness of the content from the material viewed. So please hold your capslet so that you will follow with me. Okay, so topic title, accessibility and effectiveness of sources of information. So when is a material or information accessible or effective? So if the material or information is easy to obtain or access, whether printed or online, it is accessible. If the material provides you comprehensive and sufficient information you need for your research or study, whether general or specific, it is useful. Let us define the terms accessibility and effectiveness for a broader and more in-depth understanding of the topic. So accessibility refers to the quality of being available when needed. It also refers to the quality or characteristic of something that makes it possible to approach, enter, reach, obtain, or use it. So when we say effectiveness, what is effectiveness? Effectiveness means the ability to be successful and produce the intended results. It also means the power to be effective by its effect and usefulness. So what are the types of sources of information? So we have two types of sources of information. Number one is the primary source. A primary source or a primary document is a written or created document at the time of occurrence of an event or period of research. It is usually the first formal appearance of the product of original thinking or result of discoveries or events. A recording of a live news feed or video or its transcript is a primary source of information. Next, number two, secondary source. So first is primary source and next is secondary source. So we only have two types of sources of information. So when we say secondary source, a secondary document is written after an event. The authors usually did not witness the events or discoveries themselves. An analysis or a restatement of primary sources is a secondary document. Also, documents written with reference to primary documents and attempt to provide an interpretation are secondary documents. So there are two types of information. Again, primary source and secondary source. So under primary sources, we have the diaries, birth certificates, manuscripts, research reports, and then for secondary sources, we have the textbooks, dictionaries, books that interpret or analyze, political commentaries, or newspaper or opinion pieces. So for SAQ 1, again, self-assessment question number 1, you are going to, of course, identify from what type of sources are primary or secondary. So write your answers on the yellow paper. So again, you have to write the answers. If it is primary, you put there primary, you write primary. And if it is secondary, you also write there secondary. So for example, direction. Identify the given sources if the given sources are primary or secondary. Okay, so for example, number 1, letters and diaries. So if your answer is primary source, you write primary. Okay, so if your answer is secondary source, so you write secondary. Okay, so this is 1 up to 10. Okay, so for SAQ 2 or the self-assessment question number 2, is the content of the material accessible and effective? Explain briefly. Number 1, an internet article about it's more fun in the Philippines. So you have to read this article here, and then you are going to answer or explain briefly. When you say briefly, short but with meaning and understandable. Okay, so you are going to read this internet article about it's more fun in the Philippines, and then you are going to explain briefly your opinion. Okay, so let's practice. Okay, for let's practice. So once again, for the SAQ2 is the content of the material viewed effective and accessible. So what you are going to answer is your if it is a primary or a secondary source, and then after that you are going to also write there if it is accessible and is the article useful to the readers. Okay, so briefly explain that. Okay, and then for let's practice, accessibility and effectiveness of materials from different sources. So you are going to just put a check mark on the box to accessible and effective, and if you think that the materials or sources are accessible or effective. On the other hand, put an X mark if you think that the material sources are not effective or accessible. So what you okay, I'm back. So for the let's practice. So you just write number 1, SONA of President Duterte. So you have to put check if it is accessible and effective. And then next, number 2, artifacts of Beowulf. You have to also put a check or a check mark or an X mark. And then number 3 is news about COVID-19. And then poetry book. Okay, number 1, SONA of President Duterte. Number 2, artifacts of Beowulf. Number 3, news about COVID. And number 4, poetry book. So what you're going to do is to check if it is accessible or effective, and then the other one is if it is not accessible or effective. So what you are going to just write ya lang, no, since you cannot check because on your yellow pad na sa drawing, diba, you are going to ano lang, you write na lang. For example, number 1, SONA of the President Duterte. If it is accessible or effective, you can write ya lang accessible or effective. Or if you want to still check it. Okay, so next, number 2, comparison between the difference of the content of materials in terms of accessibility. And so let's go now to number 2. Okay, so read the news below about COVID-19 updates, then compare and contrast the content from different sources in terms of accessibility and effectiveness. Using the Venn diagram, write your answers in the appropriate parts, contrasting part and common part by choosing from the given choices. So you have the given choices below inside the box. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the answers. Okay, the answers are here. Yes, it is found here. So what you are going to do is to write a Venn diagram. So the Venn diagram goes like this, the circle 1. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate to you what is a Venn diagram, what is the drawing, what it looks like. So what you are going to do is to make a Venn diagram just like this. Okay, so from a live news TV, you can write here, and then from a newspaper, what is their difference, the two of them. Okay, so I will write first from a live news or TV, and then on the other side from a newspaper. Okay, so what you are going to do when you say Venn diagram, you are going to put the differences and the similarities, right? So what you are going to do here on this part, oh my god, I think my camera is reverse mode. Okay, so this part is the from a live news, and this one here is the from a newspaper. So what you are going to do here in this circle, you are going to put the differences of the two. Okay, the difference between them. And then here on this middle part of the circle, you are going to put the similarities. Okay, I will tell you the answer. Okay, so what you are going to do there, for example, okay, so the information, let's say the information is difficult to find. Okay, so the answers are here on the box. Okay, it's not from me, it's here on the box. So example, the information is easy to find. Where do you think that statement should go? Is it from here on the live news or from the newspaper? Okay, so that's how you are going to answer the Venn diagram. Okay, I hope we are clear with that. We are clear already. So, and then for the try part, what you are going to answer on the try part. Okay, so you are going to again answer right away. Write the letter of the correct answer. So read and comprehend the questions below, then choose the correct answers by encircling the letter of your choice. So you can't encircle it, as I've told you earlier, you can't encircle it, just write the answer on the yellow paper. So for example, number 1, which of the following sources is a primary source? So if your answer is letter A, then you write letter A up to number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So that's it for the let's try and the let's practice and the try part. So now let's remember the key points. So the material or information is accessible if it is easy to obtain or access. So whether printed or online, the material is effective if it provides comprehensive and sufficient information needed for the research or the study, whether general or specific. So a primary document is a document that was written or created at the time of the occurrence or of event or period of research. It is usually the first formal appearance of the product of original thinking or the result of discoveries or events. While the examples are diaries, correspondence, ship's logs, original documents, birth certificates, trial transcripts, biographies, autobiographies, manuscripts, etc. And then for the secondary document, it is written after an event. Okay, so the authors usually did not witness the events or discoveries themselves. An analysis or a restatement of primary sources is a secondary document. So also, documents that are written with reference to primary documents in attempt to provide an interpretation are secondary documents. So there you have it, the difference between a primary and a secondary document. So very easy. Example of secondary documents are journals, articles that comment or analyze research, textbooks, dictionaries, and encyclopedias, and books that interpret and analyze or political commentary. So that's all for it. So don't forget to write your name, year and section, and of course the subject that you are answering. Okay, so thank you so much for your time to listen to this video, to watch this video. Thank you so much, grade 10 students, and I hope and I pray that you can answer it and answer it with all your heart and mind, and of course enjoy answering. Okay, so thank you so much and God bless you. Keep safe. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you.